I'm ready.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
You thought I was done? Things are about to get much more broken than any of us expected. Let me explain. In the last video, we set out to find the longest possible hard CC chain using only 3 gods. I definitely recommend you watch that video first if you haven't already. And that's because we break down exactly how we abuse the game's mechanics in order to create the longest possible CC chain. But to summarize, we found that when you use these 3 gods in a very, very specific way, you can create a CC chain of over 22 seconds. And we followed these rules when creating that. And the most popular comment on the last video was,
how 5 gods?
Here's the thing, the way that we found the combo last time was by running it through a code we created that checked every possible combination. If we did this with 5 gods, it would take weeks to find a correct answer. So instead, the plan became to check individual combinations that we thought had a good chance of success. If only the comments on the last video had any suggestions for where we should start. After a few hours of checking, this is the best that we could find. And although it's decent, it's not as good as we thought it could be, and here's why. Both Heimdall and Yamoja are not very good at long CC chains. For instance, Heimdall only has one very long ability, but he doesn't have anything else like Neja's Sash. So once he's done, he's... Yamoja, on the other hand, has a lot of abilities that she can use. But because of diminishing returns after a while, they become kinda useless. It's not that good. So I searched out a slightly more expert opinion.
Do you guys have any ideas about the longest possible CC combo? It's probably 4 knockup characters. Bacchus, with an Oleron ult on that person. That is probably the highest you can get on like a single team.
Unfortunately, this isn't a regulation team, so we can't use it. But what I think we can take away from this is that nobody, not the dev team, not us, had any true idea about what the longest combo with 5 gods was. So, in trying to find another lead, I looked back at the code and altered it so that it would check 5 god teams in more of an estimation way than finding a definitive answer, and nobody knew what we would find next. After all of my research on the topic, I didn't come across one source saying that there were any infinite hard CC combos in Smite, and it does it without using the tricks we used in the last video, just maxed out cooldowns and a few upgraded meditations. And it's able to pull this off because it relies heavily on abilities that aren't affected by diminishing returns, so they can be used over and over again with the exact same effect.
Let the Piper parry me.
I mean, who's that?
Bacchus about to get.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Here you can see us testing out the chain. And I'll run the exact output that the code gave me across the bottom of the screen. But trust me when I say, this went on forever.
Bro, I really do be working though.
Yeah.
Bro, it's pretty much like
Infinite.
we're definitely able to like keep this going. Like, in this...
Have fun.
Cammy, me, Andrew, Husky, Kevin. Let's do it, boys. Time.
Fuck!
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna redeem myself.
Oh, he's ulting.
Fuck!
No, Cammy's combo's up.
Kill Loki. Oh.
Right here. Right here.
Oh!
Wait, Kevin.
Was it? What's good, bitch?
Yeah, boy.
Kevin?
Okay, I was watching you miss this, bro.
Oh, dude, so many of them turn.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
You next, bitch.
You ready?
No.
Oh.
You can't go infinite if they're just dead. And that's kind of the problem with this combo. It's not really rewarded with a long chain, they just die. And that's kind of a product of 5-player game modes. Either way, it's still super satisfying to know that when we used 5 gods, we became possibly the first people to find an infinite hard CC chain. And this kind of begs the question, What about 4 gods? And I'll cut to the chase. I think that it's possible that there's an infinite hard CC chain using 4 gods, but it's not necessarily probable. And the reason I know this is because of something that I like to call the minimum hard CC ratio. This is a score that we assign to every god based on their hard CC output versus the cooldowns for those abilities. If a team's collective score was greater than 1, then it meant they had more hard CC than cooldowns, which meant they could hypothetically create an infinite chain. However, from what we saw, a team needs a score greater than 1.2 in order to truly create an infinite CC chain that we can use. Our confirmed infinite combo with these 5 gods was a 1.28, but if you got rid of Hercules, it would drop down to only a 1.09, which means this team doesn't have a very good chance of creating an infinite combo. So if we're bending the rule about using only 3 gods, why don't we take a look at another rule? And no, this is still an
RNG free zone.
But when we choose to use hard CC only, we exclude abilities such as slows, which are not useful here because they don't stop the opponent, but we also exclude roots, which do stop the opponent from walking around, and cripples, which act like a silence for movement abilities. Abilities that have both a root and a cripple are extremely broken for long CC chains. And because they're classified as soft CC, it means they're not affected by diminishing returns or have an effect on diminishing returns. Using these mechanics, we can create the maximum CC ratio. This is super powerful for gods that have roots or cripples, and you can see Kumba and Artemis make a jump to the top of the chart, and the hard CC gods fall farther down. And when we run the code allowing for roots and cripples to be included, we create this super clean infinite chain. It uses 3 cripple root abilities. This adds up to a whopping score of 1.32. It's actually so effective that without using any actives at all, you can just loop this series of movement stopping abilities forever.
I vote no.
Oh. Damn.
Dude, there's so much
That was a
CC.
combo right there.
I know.
Yeah, we're
it's
done.
just like
Oh, just got juked.
Oh, she beat
What's the
herself!
beat anyways?
Jesus.
Kill you, bitch.
Oh my god.
bro, what a turn of events.
This team is disgusting.
Then on the Raw, we're gonna chase the Raw.
Wait, someone, we can't take too long, man. We're just gonna back doors again.
Ready? Come here. Now, Kevin.
Just to suffer.
Then Scylla. Then
Now what?
Cammy.
Now what? Now what?
Then me. And then someone else, whoever's up. Yeah, like that. And then like this. Yeah, and it did the. So now that we have found infinite combos for both 5 god teams and 4 god teams, let's go back to where we started with 3 god teams. There was nothing immediately obvious that led us to believe that there was an infinite CC chain possible using only 3 gods. And just like with the 5 god team, when you remove the weakest member from the 4 god team, this drops it below the threshold necessary to create an infinite combo. So then the question becomes, is there a team of 3 gods in Smite whose abilities allow you to create an infinite CC chain? The answer is no. So we're gonna have to use something a little bit better. Nuwa has easily the highest CC ratio in the entire game, and she does it without using a single ability. Nuwa's passive is that every 6th basic attack she lands roots the opponent for 1.5 seconds. Normally, it's not that big of a deal, because it would only happen every 5 to 6 seconds at best. But if you build full attack speed, and get it up near the cap of 2.5 attacks per second, you could hypothetically have this passive trigger every 2.4 seconds. Nuwa's passive with a full attack speed build is so potent that it creates multiple infinite CC chains using only 3 gods. I'll show a couple of them off here.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yo, Kevin, try walking.
Try and move. Try and move.
Try moving.
I'm gonna kill him.
I can't.
Ooh.
Ooh, boys!
Ooh.
Okay, okay.
Trying.
Okay, run over the trap, and then it's... Oh, shit!
Wait, he triggered it too.
Put it down, like... Put it... Oh my god.
They gotta walk into one, right?
They gotta...
How are they gonna kill us?
They gotta go onto one of them.
There's a
Tasker.
lot.
I don't care if he... Tasker's gonna jump onto one of us.
Hey!
Oh my god!
Brad.
Yeah, she's right there!
Stop Ryan, man. Stop.
Kevin!
Dad.
Mez! Kevin's you. Oh no!
Bro, fuck off, man. My bad. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Nope. Stop Ryan.
No, I just didn't beat for no reason.
Nope.
Yo, Cammy, I need your hand right now.
Nope.
Cammy, I need your hand right now.
What are you? Get your ass out of here. You're on blonde.
No, on her.
Oh, shit.
Mez,
Ready?
Mez, yes.
Yeah.
Kevin? Oh
Now
no.
what?
You're rude.
Nope.
Oh, you scared me. Dude, I hate to play against this team.
Oh! That was so nasty.
I need stack. I need to stack.
Kevin, you got trap?
Oh no! It's okay, no, she's still there.
Dude, that was so good.
He said first game back, last game back.
What the
So
fuck?
congrats.
I feel bad, man. And that's the story of the longest possible CC chains in Smite. At least for now. I'll be keeping an eye on future updates to see if there's any way to push the 3 god chain any farther. That original category of the longest hard CC chain using only 3 gods was the only really one worth pursuing in the first place. Every other category is just infinite. But for now, I'm very happy with where we left this off. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this style of video, and we got so much great feedback on the first video, please let me know in the comments below, because this is still super new to me. Also, let me know if you'd like to see me do this with other games. I have a few other projects in mind that I'd actually really like to share with you guys.